All right, we should be starting to wake up the signal. This anomalous broadcast from Site 42 should be starting. I am confirming that we do, in fact, have a YouTube chat. That would be nice if that were the case. Tightening the bolts on my microphone would also be nice, but, you know, we do the best we can. Lock it down. Checking, standardizing videos, live stream. The current GoFundMe is at $43,517. Hot damn. We SCP folk are the best folk. That is incredible. All right. We are activating the live stream. I am just adjusting things we need. Stand with SCPRU. Collab SCP live stream. That seems like a good name. Join the event. We are here. Save it. Donate to the legal fund. That's probably the most important thing. Copy that link. Paste it here. Hello, if you are joining us on YouTube, I am just getting us ready so we can see your chats. Donate to the legal fund. Here. Bam. Save that description. Save that title. Join us. Have watched the show. And open the chat. We are waking this thing up. And we mute that so I don't hear myself because that would be awkward. Yo, Russ Derricott in the chat. We are here. Hello, Silver. Thank you guys for joining us. Lady Katie is on hand to keep things clean. And now that we are all live and going, let me say, ladies and gentlemen, Foundation staff, welcome to the Site 42 Stand with SCPRU collaborative SCP writing live stream. I could use a better title for this. So what is going on is we have had our legal fund up for approximately 36 hours. And in that time, we have raised $43,547. We just had another $30 coming in this last minute. So we are at 43,547 out of 50K. This has been an incredible thing. We have had reblogs from Neil Gaiman and Overly Sarcastic Production on YouTube, and Cory Doctorow reblogged us, and that is amazing, and I'm very happy about that. And so many more people. I only know about part of this. We have been at this for 36 hours now and working hard and spreading the word. And so right now we are going to have a menagerie of SCP artists, authors, staff members, and fans hang out with us on this live stream, probably for like 1 to 3 hours. But our mission here is to write an SCP, something that at the end we can post onto the wiki as a commemorative collaboration for this great fundraising event and bringing the community together and things. Now, because this is a wholesome event, and also we don't want to cause any problems for any hypothetical lawsuits that might be soon in the making, we are going to the upstanding citizens, hold ourselves to our professional standards as Foundation personnel, and we're going to leave anyone whose first name is Andre, last name Duskin, at the door. We're not going to talk about them after this. The comments should be positive. We just managed to rally the community to our cause, and it worked better than any of us could have dreamed. So the wiki is here. The fandom is strong. Thank you all for being here. Let's keep this a nice positive space that won't hurt any future lawsuits. And so with that, I am going to open up the Get Vocal video channels. Oh, yes, by the way, I am watching the YouTube chat, so I am here for you. Hi there, Warpstar. Glad you joined us. Dr. Bright, hello. Silver, let's get it. In the nicest way we can possibly be polite about our victory. But I'm now going to open up these windows so we can start discussing tonight's SCP. We are going to have many authors and artists join us in the evening. So about every 20 minutes or so, I will be asking if anyone wishes to step down from the window. and to step up. That way we can rotate people who are hanging out. I have opened a Google Doc. That way we can all share the same sandbox. I will start opening that now. But first, let me open the video channel so other people can come in and say hi. Click to unlock. Grab a spot. Sumerian is here. Dr. Sumerian. All right, hold on. Can you pronounce your name for me for the final time so I say it right?
Oh, but you know you're just going to get it wrong the next time, too. Dr. Sumerian.
Sumerian. The first time I heard your name out loud, someone said Dr. Sumerian, like the language. And so I tore up the wiki looking for a Dr. Sumerian before I found you.
So it's close to that. That's the easiest way to pronounce it, is to say it's like Dr. Sumerian, but with an I instead of a U.
Wonderful. Hallelujah. And Many Meats is also here to join us. Hello, Many Meats.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
So, as I said, I have created a Google Doc. I am having trouble finding the Google Doc app on my frickin' iPad right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this Google Doc link with you guys so that we can all in real time mess with this SCP that we're going to try to write. I'm just going to put these headphones on so I can keep hearing you guys talk.
Because we're doing a lot of that. I'm also eating at the same time, everybody. So.
Legal Defense SCP edit. I am throwing this link into the Get Vocal chat now, so you guys can click on it and we can start talking about it. Apparently, I need to install Google Docs on my iPad. Look who is unprepared. Good.
I'll be right back. I'm going to put my dinner in there.
Good luck.
All right. And right now we have simply the opening line, SCP Legal Defense 2019 Sandbox. So from here, we can write pretty much anything we want. Because I was attempting to have a more wholesome vibe, my opening idea for an SCP was something along the lines of some sort of article, some sort of thing where everyone in the Foundation needed to come together to stop the threat. Now, the only thing that made me, like, the worst idea that came of that in the shower thought while I was getting ready for this stream was a literal, like, spirit bomb, like Dragon Ball Z, but somehow justified in article by being really good. I don't think I can ever pull that off on my own. But it was like where we discover that A, souls are real, and B, that you can siphon off power from souls, and C, there was something that could only be fought that way. And so the Foundation personnel en masse donated 0.5% of their souls to fight the thing and contain it somehow. Hello. Now that I've said that ridiculous thing, I'm open to other ideas.
That does sound a little overly complicated, though I will say the idea of using souls as a power source is something that I have thought about as an idea for a couple of times. I just basically looked up pitches that I haven't used before. So I've got two here recently that I posted that I'm probably not going to write. Well, wouldn't have written on my own anyway. First one. I'm just going to read my pitch here. A piece of feces owned by Are We Cool Yet, which is shrouded in mystery. It's played up as this incredibly dangerous, anomalous object. The SCP Foundation finds out about it, and they lead a raid to acquire it and test it for anomalous properties. Only the whole point of it was that it's performance art by Are We Cool Yet to try and trick the Foundation into stealing a piece of poop.
I'm sorry, I caught one thing. Hey, Uranium, welcome. Did I hear you wrong? You mentioned the ship of Theseus?
No, a piece of feces.
A piece of feces? Okay. Yeah, I heard that way wrong.
Yep. All right. There's that pitch, which didn't seem to hit, so we'll go with the next one. Meet Francis F. Franklin III. If you do, you'll become overcome with an urge to try and emulate the way he speaks or the way he walks. After enough time, you'll start to dress like him. And finally, you're going to start to try and make every single part of your life be exactly like his, from your face to your lifestyle. And these will be to various levels of success depending on your income. Like, you may actually try to get cosmetic surgery. But in short, you're going to attempt and fail, to be perfectly frank.
Oh,
Oh
ow,
my lord.
ow.
Ugh. That hurt just right. I like that.
What are we doing? Sorry, I just got on and I've been spending the
Idea pitches.
Oh shit. I'm kind of saving like most of mine for 5K if I'm being honest.
Well, if you have
Yeah.
a random idea that you want to spit out now, like here's my other random idea. I just found one, and it's that there was someone who was So I'll admit this goes back to when we were considering an anomalous trademark idea that I don't want to get too far down that wire, making it too in that vibe. But the idea I had was that a lot of things that have disappeared in history, like, say, Amelia Earhart, things that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, pop culture things like the Bearstein Bears, things that have been like, whatever that effect is that I can't remember.
Mandela effect.
Mandela affected. What actually happened was that the original version of that thing was trademarked by this anomalous trademark, and whoever held it essentially made an anti-meme of whatever the real thing was.
Like
So
kind of
Amelia
a
Earhart
master universal copyright.
And so Amelia Earhart finished the flight and succeeded in all that, but we can't see her, and she just kind of lived out her life being invisible because her flight was trademarked mid-flight and stuff like that.
Oh, I like that. I like
And
that
so
a
if there
lot.
was like a greed thing, a selfishness kind of story, and like someone is trademarking real things, and then they become an anti-meme.
So it's a little bit like that one story. I cannot remember where it's from, but it's I think it was a YouTube video actually, but it was a story about how someone designed an AI, a self-improving AI, and accidentally left it over the weekend. And its entire purpose was to try and remove a certain number of songs and movies from a video website. Unfortunately, since it was an artificial intelligence, it improved itself exponentially and literally became capable of, removing movies and music from your brain.
Jesus.
Are you familiar? It's kind of niche. Tanhoney did a thing with an anomalous media group called Westhead Media.
I have not heard of this one.
I only think it's come up in a couple articles. They're not really a GOI. They're kind of just a couple mentions in a couple articles that I think Tanhoney's done. That sounds like a thing that they would do. I like the kind of meta copyright idea or trademark. Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I was actually working on something similar about a software, not exactly a software, more like a hypervisor level rootkit, originally intended to remove like kind of incriminating stuff about someone from the internet. And then like the final update, for whatever reason, by the creator, is to remove the entirety of themselves from human knowledge. So there's just a bunch of like effectively sapient rootkits causing absolute havoc, trying to erase any mentions of this person. It's sort of like a digital suicide.
The European Union's right to be forgotten sort of thing?
Kind of. This takes place in America, though.
Sure, I'm just saying in a similar sense, you could even use The Right to Be Forgotten as your title if you were doing that.
Oh, the title is going to be How to Disappear Completely.
That is descriptive at the very
That is
minimum.
the legal term, and that's, yeah, oh, heavy. All right, checking in the chats. Got our GoFundMe link going. Thank you. Apparently my microphone's on the fritz. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm still adjusting with features over here. Apparently, if I have more than 2 people on the stream, my microphone goes to hell.
Also, we just got a $350 on the fundraiser, so we're up to 44,000.
Oh, hallelujah! 44,000. Thank you for
Fucking
the update.
sweet.
Yes, and by the way, everybody in this stream right now, please share this stream. Get us going further. I'm gonna keep making things happen and spreading the word. Oh, I just noticed on the YouTube side, Many Meats. I believe you are using your profile picture and no camera, right?
Yes, that's correct. Unless you
No,
believe
that's what
I
he looks
actually have a
like.
ham for a head.
That means that YouTube cannot see or hear you. You need to use like OBS, the software, to make yourself a video input of that avatar, and then you will
Okay.
be audio to the general public.
Can do.
I just use Virtual Cam.
Virtual Cam also works.
Yeah. I think even if you use an OBS, you have to get the virtual cam plugin anyway. But
oh, never mind. Apparently, YouTube can apparently still hear Many Meats. It's just that his avatar is not available.
that is about right. Yeah, because that's what happened last time. I remember when we did this last time, somebody had the same issue, and they basically fiddled a lot just to get their avatar up on the screen. But you know what? That might be for the best, because YouTube's algorithm is going to see that blood, and it's going to demonetize anything you end up uploading.
Oh no, not demonetization.
You
Okay,
joke,
well,
but I am
glad-
correct on that one. That is almost certainly what would happen.
It's not blood, it's just delicious meat juice.
That's what blood is.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think the robot that, like... I say robot, but it's more like an automaton meant to signal, like to simulate the actions of a chimpanzee with access to the internet. That's probably what's moderating YouTube. I don't know if it can tell the difference.
Meat juice is just blood.
Yeah, that too.
And by the way, in case you in the chat world are not an SCP author, have never written anything before for the wiki, if you thought that SCP authors were some sort of special higher class of person doing things, no, we're just all hanging out talking about meat,
Here's the
spitballing ideas just like every other person.
here's the thing about like authors being special. The difference between like big name SCP author and like non-author is literally just like writing stuff.
Yeah, we have more words. That's about.
Just,
Yeah, we have-
just hitting your head against the wall and doing the thing.
Yeah, I used to be just some fucking nobody, and now I have an entry on the fucking Canon Hub.
I lurked for 3 years before I ever wrote something, and I've done 20 articles this year. So all it takes is just make rocket go now.
There is no way I can enter into this conversation without sounding like I'm humble brag.
Oh no. It's okay. Tell us about your over 100 articles and how it just takes effort.
I was gonna say it's over. It's almost 110 now, and also I think I have 4 entries on the Canon.
I mean, I know you have aces and eights, but like,
Aces and Eights, Straight On Till Morning. I think those are the only two I've actually directly created, but I could be wrong. The Gulf 3. That's 3. Let's see what else. And the other ones I just contributed heavily to the beginning of, like AIAD, and I know you participated in a few others. That's it.
You did some for those Twisted Pines, like.
Well, yeah.
To the point that, like, I think you did it as an AIAD Twisted Pines crossover, which I imagine would make Green Wolf really fucking angry.
Yeah, which makes me so happy. Being able to make someone angry for stupid reasons is just the best thing ever.
I've like considered. The whole point of the Trash Fire is that it's like not compatible with shit like Resurrection or Third Law, Twisted Pines, things like that. It's meant to be self-contained, but like I've definitely been tempted to pull a Natalie and say like both AIAD and Third Law are canon.
Well, this is the 2987, the AI and the AI soul idea is the one that crosses over to about 5 canons. So it's people are like, how is it possible it could be canon to multiple canons? I'm like, that's easy, as long as it's true in all the individual stories, it could be used differently. And I still one of these days I'm gonna make it Third Law compatible. I don't care. I'll do
it. God, oh.
Last time I said that in IRC 4 years ago, it might have been 2 or 3 years ago actually, because that sounds like too long. But about 2 or 3 years ago, I said that in IRC, and Green Wolf was not in chat. He was not in that chat. But within 10 seconds, I got a PM from him in all caps going, "You better fucking not."
Oh yeah, if you did that, I'm pretty sure Green Wolf would hunt you down in real life.
Hilarious.
Full the most dangerous game, hunted like an animal.
I like my chances. But yeah, that's the fun stuff. But like I said, there's no way I can ever really, except for when I guess if I'm in a conversation with, say, maybe Cactus or Roget, there's no way I can like contribute without making it sound like I'm being like, yeah, that's really nice, but have you heard about what I've done?
It's cute that you're trying.
But I'm not. I said it and then I was like, oh, you mean me saying it to other people? Like,
yeah, you saying it to other people.
Because I was like, I didn't try. I said it and then I did it anyway.
That's all right. I'm still proud of my 5 articles. I'll be okay. My self-esteem's not burned at all. I'll be fine.
I don't know. I spent like 5 years on the site, 4.5 years on the site with only like 2 articles. 3 if you count one that got deleted and rewritten by Cactus, then self-deleted and replaced with an SCP by ARD. But I came back and in like the span of a year and a half, I increased that number by 26.
Yeah, I try to do at least 2 articles a month. Sometimes a little bit more. Every once in a while, one less, but at least one a month. But yeah, so it's just a matter of me catching up. Like I look at my article count and I look at the people in front of me, and about 75% of them are either incredibly inactive or just banned outright already. So I'm gonna catch up.
God, fucking. I know who you're talking about. I'm sorry that like this chat has devolved into just sort of like subtweeting people we respect but don't necessarily like.
Wait, I wasn't even mean that. I meant actually like there's a list. It's more than just one person.
This is what happens when you get enough authors in a room. We just kind of sit a second.
We start with ideas and then we start shit talking people. I got you.
Oh, this isn't even like the deepest you go with authors.
No, I just had a question. Do either of y'all know, like, how many SCP's authors are there?
There's like
somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500. I'm actually on Skipper right now, but it takes forever to load, so I'm waiting for it to pop up, and it'll actually tell me, I believe, exactly how many authors there are.
Most of them are one-timers. Maybe people from the last,
Although
the first.
I remember looking at it like that. A lot of people have 2 or more. It's actually more people than you would think have at least 2 articles.
I think the problem with 9138 contributors is that like you get into a lot of the collaborative logs, the editing for grammar, things like that.
Yeah. So first of all, there are 1,649 total authors right now.
Oh shit!
That's
the
less
three
than I
people.
expected.
Is that less than you expected? Yeah, the 3 people in front of me in article count are all banned. And the 2 people in front of those people are so inactive that they haven't posted recently, or they post like once a year. So there's like 5 people. I'm just gonna pass, and I only need 108 minus 124. I only need 16
I gotta check
articles.
this. I gotta check this.
You want to know what the names are, like without me having to say them? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to like.
Leave it
I
in the
don't want.
undertext. Leave it in the undertext. Let them hunt it down on Skipper. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to like just call out someone like, oh, blah.
I didn't say names, but yeah.
God, I'm
Exactly.
so-
If you want the drama alert, you got to go hunt for it yourself. Do the work.
God, that reminds me. Fuck Keemstar. All my homies hate Keemstar.
Bold stance.
Oh, and now we're monetizing the stream for the charity fund. I just had to fix that. So now.
Oh yeah, you started doing that now? Gotcha.
Exactly. So yes, donation, any monetization or super chats from this live stream will go directly to the SCP-RU legal fund as soon as we're finished.
Though I will say, if it's at all possible to go to the legal fund, donate there, because YouTube takes a huge chunk out of super chat. Yeah.
Sumerian is exactly right. Go to the legal fund
if you
first.
can't, because I think mainland China blocks GoFundMe for some reason. So if you can get to the YouTube channel and do it that way, that's cool. But if you can go to GoFundMe, go there.
And as of this point in the stream, we are at $44,104 donated. Ha, ha, ha.
Yay.
Go.
Shit, is Cleffin?
Clef is in the YouTube chat. Hey, Clef.
Hey, speak of the devil.
God.
I'm sorry, I had to make that joke. I mean, clearly.
You absolutely
Clef-
had to.
Clef is one of the 2 reasons this YouTube channel exists, because one of them is Dr. Light, who retweeted my stuff on Tumblr enough that I felt good and did it. And the other one is Clef, who requested the first SCP I recorded, which was The Screaming Man. And so, yeah, that's just nice. Hi. This is all
I remember the Wild West days of doing nothing but readings. Those were good days.
God.
All right, so shall we? Our current idea pile for tonight's SCP is the Spirit Bomb, where you donate your soul for power, the anti-meme trademark that deletes things from real life if you trademark them with it,
And the one about hold on, let me see if I can say this in a shorter pitch. The one about a guy who, when you see him or interact with him, you want to become him, and his name is Frank, which means it's titled To Be Perfectly Frank.
Exactly, perfectly frank. Or the Ship of Theseus? No, the Piece of Feces.
You could ship a Theseus a pile of feces.
The Are We Cool Yet tricking the Foundation into stealing a piece of poop.
That's one of the good ones, because like the problem with a lot of Are We Cool Yet shit is like it's a lot of we're gonna kill people, but like this is something a group of artists would actually fucking do.
You think you're so badass? You want to be all tactical? Cool. Come steal a piece of poop.
It's anomalous, we swear.
Also, in the text chats, we have an idea for a 5th idea.
We just had someone donate $50. Thank you, Derek Bingley Weber.
Yeah. And also Agent Washington in the super chat for donating £1.99. Thank you very much for donating super chat. We will still get that sent your way. We have a idea in the chats for an anomalous trademark idea that forces the user to say the word trademark after any word that is trademarked. Except because more and more words have been trademarked over time, it essentially forces you to say the word trademark after every word. And so we'd have to make
Oh
sure
man. You know, though, that would be really good. And then something that is obviously trademarked, like, I don't know, Pepsi comes up, and for some reason it's exempted.
God.
Pepsi.
Oh, God.
Exactly. Something specific. You know, and like Pepsi is the first thing that popped into mind. But yeah,
God,
something
please let it be
super specific.
Pepsi. I already wrote an SCP about Pepsi.
And they're just like, why is Pepsi exempt from this? It makes no sense.
Okay, but honestly, now I want to do exactly that. I think, is that the winner? Is that the one?
Well, I mean,
Is that,
I'm
is
not
that-
joke pitching it. That's a real idea that I was throwing into it.
I think that's, if everyone is with me, I think the trademark, having to say trademark after every word, except Pepsi. I think that's going to be an interesting article.
Oh, the title, yeah. You have to say trademark after every word except for Pepsi. That's your title.
Magical. Checking in on Twitter. Famine is making sure we're going to be.
Make it even longer. It's you trademark, half trademark, 2 trademark, say trademark, trademark, Pepsi after trademark.
No. Except yes, but no.
I feel like if it's just saying like trademark, we could do better. What if you had to like also like you also have to include like trademark the company that owns it?
Pepsi Corporation established 1996.
Except not. That's the one you skip. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And like at least one of them is like trademarked to a Foundation front company.
Oh man, that would be a bit of a problem.
Just like something.
Man, and then the Foundation runs all their front companies through Pepsi.
Oh God. I'm imagining also like the front companies in question. It's always something that like it just seems stupidly suspect.
Right, but that's like it. That's it. Once they find out Pepsi is exempted, they use Pepsi as like the overlord or the owner for all of their front companies. That way, they don't get anomalously exposed.
Last red name in the YouTube chat points out that all of the trademarks have to be in the footnotes, just like all at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, I'm gonna go to the Google Doc. I think everything's a trademark except Pepsi because it's a SCP Front Corporation is our winner. Lady Katie in the SCP chat is just pointing out that the SCP Front location is a Soda Coke Pepsi.
Coke and Pepsi, yes.
So like now the Foundation is a trust. So now we already have a sequel. We already have a sequel where Pentagram tries to destroy the Foundation through antitrust laws.
One idea at a
Power
time.
of the FCC.
The Foundation must uphold capitalism for the cause. All right, so I'm just going to start filling in little half details in the document, like item number blank, object class, dear God blank. Special container
Object class
procedures.
trademarked.
Object class trademarked.
You know, Keter is a company.
Keter is a lot of companies, actually.
I mean, it's also the highest points on the tree of life.
Imagine Euclid and Safe are probably company names, to be honest with you.
Oh, tons of stuff has got Euclid in it.
What if they just have to skip the object class because like so many companies are named after this that like it's just not worth the effort citing them all?
Well, I
So
mean,
they
like
just,
my
like-
last SCP left an object class out entirely. If we wanted to, we could probably do it.
Object class. Finally,
With you, just from a meta perspective, object class trademark kind of sets people up to let them know what they're going to be in for.
yeah, and it's justified like the esoteric class because all of the other ones are taken.
I say shout out to one of the YouTube channels I follow myself, which is Some More News with Cody Johnston.
Actually, are there any companies called Thaumiel?
Oh, most certainly. But what about Cody Johnson?
Cody Johnston's entire shtick making fun of Fox News is that they're fair and balanced, trademark, copyright, rights restricted. We are the Cody Shody, TMCR. And so, object class TMCR seems like a funny thing. It's too much copyright. Right. Ah, yes, and if we wanted to do soda cola Pepsi as the front company, cola is a generic term rather than Coke, and it's not the opposite.
True. Soda, cola, and Pepsi.
Soda, cola, and Pepsi.
It's not Thaumiel if it's like containing itself. Then it's just safe. I mean, do we want to go outside of Sex Tank?
A fan of that acronym, but actually, technically, that is an acronym. It's not an initialism. Even if you did put them together, it's sort of one.
Did you say sex tank?
Yes. Safe, Euclid, explained, Thaumiel, Apollyon, neutralized, Keter.
Oh, all right. I'm on board.
Well, this is the first time I've heard of that.
I've heard it before, but not often.
Prometheus says sectane, which doesn't have a sex tank, so I think it's immediately less quality.
Yeah.
But much more monetizable. Damn it.
Sex tank, really.
I think it's that like 55-gallon tub of lube.
It's just a fish tank.
You need to tell us something?
I think it's sold on Amazon.
Special thank you to Colin, Anthony, Anonymous, Madison, and Carson. While we're up to $44,249 on the GoFundMe.
Oh, thank you to Anthony Saldana. That's $100.
Right?
Yeah. And furthermore, yeah.
All right, so how do we contain an anomalous trademark that makes you say the word trademark after trademarked words.
I very much
Obviously,
think you should start working on the description first. Get an
Obviously,
idea what it's going to be exactly, and then work on your containment.
obviously, the site that's containing it needs to be in international waters.
Oh yeah,
I
and
want to throw
Sealand.
something
Sealand,
ahead.
isn't that
This
incorporated?
this needs a container page with an acknowledgement that SCP blah is a registered trademark of insert foundation shell company here, and you agree to disable your ad blocker or any other such proprietary software before entering this page. You need an acknowledgement that you'll submit yourself to all legally required, etc.
Write that at the top of the Google Doc right now. You
See,
put that there.
I feel like the problem with that is that you're acknowledging that Wikidot users use AdBlock, and I'm not sure Wikidot allows that by the terms of service.
No, they're not going to notice. They're not.
I don't think Wikidot's gonna kick
I think
up a
it's
dust
fine.
storm over one container page on their cash cow.
I mean, what are they gonna do? Lead a fucking militia? They're 4 people.
Well, over half of something like 60 or 70% of all the wiki traffic is through mobile anyway, so you're not dealing with browser ad blockers on a mobile.
That does kind of suck. Like,
Yeah.
we've created a class of computer that cannot run AdBlock.
It's only a matter of time, of course.
All right, but I'm still in favor of that disclaimer for now as like a setup, and we'll see if we got to tweak it later. I say write that down at the top. We'll mess with that later. 'Cause that's
I'm sending
really
a
funny.
access request notice to you.
I am going to open the sharing settings and add you to that document.
Dun dun dun.
Let me actually check that. Prometheus says that the top 3 wikis are all SCP themed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read somewhere that like the SCP.
1, 2. I didn't realize I didn't have edit.
I think it's SCP Wiki, Sandbox 3, and Sandbox 2. Those are like their top 3 wikis.
From what I remember, the top wiki behind the top wikis, SCP Sandbox 2 and Sandbox 3, the Japanese Sandbox 3, and Adventure Quest Worlds. The top sites in terms of changes, in terms of forums, it's the SCP Foundation, the Chinese branch, and the Japanese branch. And meanwhile, sorry, I'm trying to find it just so I can clown on them. Oh, they're not even on the list. Oh, that's precious.
Do not invoke them.
Yeah.
Not by name. Not by name.
A certain bunch of chuds are behind 2 private SCP sandboxes.
Oh.
Heard nothing about that. Heard nothing. I'm just going to keep making a people approval
By talking
document.
By talking about how irrelevant someone is, you make them more relevant. Don't do that.
All right, does everybody who's editing this document now have approval? Or do I need to approve some more people for this Google Doc? I thought it would be like open.
This view only. Check.
I really
Finally
thought my
says view only, but when I refresh, I can edit now, so you may have to do that.
Hey, there's...
Too much work.
There we go. We're in there. There we go. I got uranium here. I'm going to open your settings and add you. You are now a writer on this Google document.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to reshare the link to this so that people who want to also edit it can find it. It's at the top of the chat somewhere.
Wait, what the fuck is Bruce Base?
I don't know what that is.
It's a Bruce Springsteen fan wiki.
What?
It's a Bruce Springsteen fan wiki.
I didn't know his lore was so expansive.
The Bruce Springsteen cinematic universe.
To be fair, Bruce Springsteen songs all basically take place in the same universe, so
I guess.
Jersey, goddammit, and how terrible it is in New Jersey, which is why New Jersey loves Bruce Springsteen. So
is there like, okay, The Wall, that doesn't take place in the same universe as Wish You Were Here. I don't. So like, it isn't just that. But I am so fucking sure that like, God, I'm trying to think. I already lost my train of thought. That is basically how the last week has gone.
That's how writing in general goes.
This is going to be very like esoteric, but what is the core anomaly?
Core anomaly.
SCP-XXX is an anomalous effect which requires
the acknowledgement of legally binding trademarks within, I don't know, the fucking... Does NATO like enforce trademarks?
no, but NATO is trademarked. Trademarks are generally enforced under like a same thing as copyright treaties. Trademarks are usually under the same copyright treaties as everything else.
Is this another are we cool yet like anti-capitalism anomaly where like they did a
Sounds
thing
I'm always against overcomplicating. That sounds like it's overcomplicating. Adding extra elements before we even get the base core down is probably bad.
because I'm trying to figure out
Like, who does it affect? Why does it affect them? In the sense that not even if we don't understand why it works, who it affects, why it affects them under what circumstances, and what it is.
So who would be caused to say the word trademark after every word that is trademarked?
So is it an effect that affects one person, multiple people? If it's just one person, it's not that big of a deal. Still an anomaly, but probably not SCP entry worthy.
I mean, maybe it's something spread with exposure. And so we find one person, but the longer you talk to the person, the more you start doing the same thing. As you acknowledge that more things are trademarked, you also start pointing out that they're trademarked. The question is just how many words are trademarked? Is it enough words to make the anomaly interesting, knowing that most of the dictionary is not trademarked?
Okay, this might be a little dense. Try this on for size. Some kind of an employee for whatever our anomaly holder is, they're the one who trademarks the stuff, and you're not affected when you're talking to them, but all secondhand information is what gets trademarked. So say you and I have a conversation, and then I'm the anomaly carrier. You go talk to somebody else. If you relay anything that I said, you have to say that's trademarked because I have the trademark for it. That's a lot of words. I'm still trying to whittle that down.
Yeah, you got me. I need a rephrase.
Okay, you and I talk, and I tell you a story about how I went to the store. So then you, later on in your day, go talk to Uranium Empire, and you say, hey, you know, I heard this funny story about Many-Meats going to the store. And that whole, every word in that story is trademarked because you're relaying what I said.
Oh.
Interesting.
I own the words. I bought them from Marshall Carter and Dark or something. Or I bought them off the deep web, or who knows what. So it's not that the words themselves, maybe.
Okay, yes. It's not a wide range. I'm okay. I'm starting to see this. So it's not a wide-ranging anomaly that affects people and or large blocks of text, or even just makes whatever. It's a literal. I own this particular story, and it's a particular story that is completely and totally trademarked all the way through.
Something that could be a little easier to chew without inviting some really gigantic.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Also, I have an idea for a button for this story, like the ending. Because Pepsi's got to be in there somewhere, obviously, and it has to make the point that Pepsi is not covered somehow, is not covered by this. Although it changes our idea of having a foundation front company under the SCP, under whatever, because there really isn't a need for that on a small scale anomaly like this. But that's fine. But your button is. The ending includes a reprint of the original story. Maybe you don't show the original story at all throughout the entire thing, just little snippets here and there. The ending is a reprint of the entire story, except this time it says Pepsi trademark pending.
Oh. I like that.
That's interesting. Also, we have a super chat for $5. Thank you, Mitchell, and who wants to point out that basically anything the anomaly says becomes trademarked after the victim repeats it. So, like, after the fact. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So instead of it just being one story, it could be a person for whom anything they say is trademarked. But only in that particular order? Only, like, if you repeat that story or try to repeat that story?
Yeah, only if you're directly quoting or paraphrasing them.
And that's just anomalous enough to be an SCP object. I like that.
And that way it's still dangerous because, what if like a public figure got a hold of this? What if they were trademarking stories and slogans and things like that? There's still plenty of danger in that they'd have to take it seriously.
Public figures all the time are trying to trademark common phrases.
You mean like, yeah, there is the president of the United States would almost certainly be trying to do that, probably.
Didn't he already try to trademark what was essentially like Senator Armstrong's quote?
He tried to trademark "You're fired" back in the height of The Apprentice stuff.
I remember that. Yeah,
that sounds like
It's like I vaguely remembered that, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely something he did. That doesn't have enough value to be trademarked. That's not how trademark works. It has to be unique. You can't just say that.
Yeah, no, like you get what's the phrase I'm looking for? You get like Kardashians and Kendall Jenner like trademarking just random things they say all the time because they put it on a t-shirt and now it's a trademark. It's like, what? So
I totally get the point. I just, everyone wants to bag on anyone who tries to trademark. Like, I get it. You're trying to protect your property, but you don't realize that it's not your property. That's the problem.
you don't realize
Nothing wrong with the intent. There's something wrong with the knowledge.
Taylor Etkin ruins our monetization by saying "What up, fuckers?" in the chat.
That hurts the monetization.
I think it has.
It was gone with the meat juice, anyways. We're gone.
But I mean, because I premiere every video, and let me tell you, there's some bad stuff shows up in my chats, and I haven't recently had any monetization problems.
God, I can't even fucking imagine. Do you ever get the 105 idiot?
All of the idiots, and thankfully they are outweighed by the good people, but definitely a few idiots.
But the 105 idiot, do you get him?
What is that idiot? Because I'm not sure.
Okay, so you don't get the 105 idiot. You would know.
That's ominous.
It really is.
It's just frustrating, honestly. I see him all the time in Reddit. I have to ban each of his new, alts. And, I don't even get the satisfaction of deleting his, dog shit posts because AutoMod does that for us.
Ooh, guys, later on, just in the chat, this is interesting. Blaze Bailey Finnegan is like, the idea that the Foundation is using trademark law and the FTC as a containment method could be a fun story sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
We
need to circulate on the core of this anomaly, though. I feel like we're very scattered on it.
Getting off track again. So this
Okay,
guy,
so is it a person or is it just a story? Is it a person that tells stories that are trademark, or is it a single story that is trademarked?
I think our question is, so this guy tells you a story. Now, is the story he said actually legally trademarked? Or do you just have to react to it when you tell the story as if it were legally trademarked?
I think I think you have to react as though it were legally trademarked. I don't think it would make much sense for the trademark office to actually have files on record of this. Then again, that could be fun too.
Then I feel like the containment procedures for this person have to be keeping them in a vegetative state.
Well, no,
so
you just got to keep them quiet. You don't have to keep them. That's overkill. Just silence them somehow and take away any ability to write anything.
Yeah.
How do we Series 1 would remove his tongue or something if he was a D class. So,
that was the first thing I thought and didn't say because it's ridiculous and stupid. But
yeah,
I think you can keep him. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Hannibal Lecter masked.
Well, yeah, just cover his mouth. But that also means you can still test it, right? Because you can remove that and then put him in a controlled environment and say these words, and then figure out how it goes from there.
Well, I feel like he has to be fed via IV because if you take off his mask, he can pretty much say whatever he wants.
Also, why are we assuming that he has got to be forced into saying nothing? Perhaps this anomaly has affected him personally enough that he doesn't want to say anything.
Oh, he's like a monk. He's like a silent oath.
Yeah, because think about it. You live your life like this for just a day and see how you like it. Imagine a guy living like this for a couple of years. Become very, very what's the word? Taciturn. He's not gonna speak a lot. He's only gonna speak when it absolutely is necessary.
And very well considered of what words he will use and making sure that they are very uncommon words.
Of course, he would have figured out a long time ago that Pepsi is exempted, so it's going to feature a lot in his conversations.
talks almost in nothing but Pepsi metaphors.
Actually, and that works even better because let's instead of it being every word, there are some words that besides Pepsi, obviously, but any name brand automatically except for Pepsi. But then there are some other regular words that just aren't affected somehow, so it can communicate limitedly. And then we have to be able to put together speech patterns for a guy who can only say Pepsi in like a limited collection of maybe 5 or 6 words.
Maybe it's just nouns. Maybe it is just like nouns and adjectives that are like trademarkable. And so we get
wait a minute. No. His name, he's got to identify himself as Pepsi. That's like he substitutes his own name for Pepsi now because it's the only thing he can say that people could repeat. So, who are you? I am Pepsi.
I feel like that's the title of the article.
I am Pepsi.
I am Pepsi.
So yeah, give him a limited give him a limited vocabulary. That way, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult to tell the story properly once we are introduced to the character. Give him a limited vocabulary along with the word Pepsi, and then we'll go from there. So it's a dude. Then we know for a fact it's going to be a dude. That is we've settled on that. So then you can do your special containment procedures now because you know it's a guy who you don't want to. Well, by the way, it's only relaying stories. So just because he says it, someone has to hear it and repeat it for the effect to go off.
Ooh, yeah.
Right. So as long as we're not
in a
go ahead.
different direction, but what if he were cleared to speak in advertisements? So like, oh yeah, how you doing, Pepsi? Oh wow, feeling great. Like I just had a nice, cool, refreshing Pepsi Cola, and that's not trademarked. Like that's the way he can talk without triggering it.
Oh, you mean if he only speaks in like ad bites?
That's the only way he can speak without triggering it.
Yeah,
Which
like
is,
that.
of course, incredibly depressing for a person to have to go through.
He can only speak to people. He can only speak to people. He can only speak to people via the promotion of Pepsi. Anything else is
he's
trademarked.
aware of what he can do.
Wait. No,
he's stuck in this catch-22.
Everything else is individually trademarked. But when he makes an ad pitch for Pepsi, he can make the entirety of his conversation trademark. So he only has to say it once.
Yeah, I like that.
Only speaks in ad bites for fear of.
Actually, no, you know what? When you said for fear of, I was like, for fear of Pepsi sounds like a good title, too. Right, but as we were saying earlier, so your containment procedure is very simple there. It's just a standard humanoid containment chamber not standard, a humanoid containment chamber, because there's going to be some modifications to it. You need to be able to stop audio from being, it needs to be soundproofed, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
No one can hear anything out. He needs to not be allowed access to writing of any kind, not paper, not computers, nothing. He needs to not have any. He does not have easy access to any forms of communication automatically.
Humanoid containment chamber. Equipped with soundproofed. I was gonna say equipped with soundproofing or equipped with like soundproofing.
Soundproofed humanoid containment chamber is the simplest way to put that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't need the parentheses part at that point. SCP Pepsi is contained within a soundproof humanoid containment chamber. No communication with
Except under testing, except in the course of testing, communication with SCP Pepsi must be prevented, limited, something along those lines.
is permitted outside of testing. Testing must be any tests of SCP Pepsi must be undertaken with communication, preventative communication protocols.
Like that. That's
Yeah.
No testing of testing. No testing of. Nice. Yes, approved testing.
redundant to say approved testing. All testing should be approved, but
I can see that. Unless the testing were approved by a level blank researcher.
Janitor approved it. That counts, right?
No testing.
Yeah,
Look.
that wording is not limited enough. It needs to be something along the lines of, I'm saying for myself, for the approved testing part.
Yeah.
It's got to be something
I'd say it should-
under
something like the
approval of
containment
the
team.
SCP Pepsi under approval of the SCP Pepsi project head, which is usually the way I term it.
Yeah, that's also usually what I do.
But Joe the janitor said I could trust him.
Joe the janitor is a liar and will be fired.
Joe the janitor is a liar and has been here for far longer than you. So you are going to be fired, and he's not going to be because you're an idiot.
SCP Pepsi project lead. Testing of SCP Pepsi. Requires.
So you're using the word Pepsi, but when we have a number, it's going to be that number and then a TM, right? Obviously.
Obviously. That number TM. Level. Would you capitalize level in this sense? Like level 4 communication prevention procedures?
Testing requires blah, 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 blah. I don't honestly think this. Oh, okay. This will prevent. I thought you were giving it like a access level, but yeah, this makes. I think, you know what? You don't even think you need levels for this. I think just standard communication prevention procedures. You know what I mean? Like, what's level 4 versus level 1? That's a little bit extra. I mean, those extra details sometimes work. I don't think they work here. Could be wrong, but.
If you want to reinforce that this guy hates his situation, you could slip something in here about the procedures being relaxed in a specific way or tentative pending their continued cooperation or something to that effect.
I think we'll hold.
I guess
off
it depends on if you want to circle
down
that.
into, like, talking to him. Let's get into the
That's
point
fair.
where we actually get to talking to him, see what he's like, and I know it makes it sound like we're creating a person here, but see what he's like first, and then decide how he if he's going to be
alive.
or whatever. Although, I mean,
the chat is feeding us some delightfully bad Pepsi slogans. Like, apparently the 1957 slogan was, "Say Pepsi, please."
Pepsi, it's what's for lunch.
Apparently the new slogan is "More Happy," which could work for any sort of ironically sad statement they're saying.
See,
Pepsi, better than a bag full of wasps.
for 34.28, I did chill out with the Pepsi, except Pepsi was black boxed because I thought black boxing the name of what was obviously Pepsi would be funny, and it is funny to me. Pepsi.
All right, so special containment procedures. SCP-Pepsi is contained within a soundproofed humanoid containment chamber. No communication with SCP-Pepsi is permitted without approval from the SCP-Pepsi project lead. Testing of SCP-Pepsi requires standard anomalous communication prevention procedures. Does it need more than that, or is that just like...
I don't even know if it
I think
needs
it's
like
fine.
this
I think-
last
yeah.
sentence.
I was thinking about that too, honestly, because like I think
Actually-
the testing procedures are going to be outlined per test, so it's not like you need to be like you shouldn't be prescriptive about what they can and can't do in a test, because that's the whole point of tests. Unless there's like a super dangerous problem that you could come up from it, which there isn't here. Is my thing.
And beyond that, you should generally assume that the people doing the test know how to do their job.
Yeah, we're not
because
gonna,
they're going to put together testing like guidelines that will cover what needs to be covered properly.
yeah, we're not
Yeah.
going to speed run 1048.
Well, I mean, I would, but I'm a pile of meat already, so I don't have much to lose.
Let's take that sentence out, and in the meantime, we are up to $44,404 of the $50,000 goal. So thank you, Nolan, Casey, Anonymous, Anthony, and Anonymous, who have donated a combined $20, $35, $45, $50, $65 in the last 15 minutes.
That anonymous guy or girl has really donated a lot of money for this campaign.
I just
in
keep
small
coming
doses.
back.
Exactly, just a little bit here and there.
Kind of makes me wonder how they're getting their money.
Probably some sort
Their
of
own crowdfunding on.
Crowdfund me, crowdfunding.
All right, so
Our anomaly. Who is he or she? Well, actually, maybe we could switch that up a little bit, because we've been thinking in the we would naturally like just gravitating to the idea that it's a dude. Maybe it's not. Let's think about that. Flip a coin. Anyone got a coin?
I got a dice shaker, evens or odds.
Evens, dude. Odds, not.
All right, dice shaker. Siri, pick a number 1 through 10.
The answer is 5.
The answer is 5.
All right. So she. All right. Now, who is she? Like, where's she from? How old is she? These aren't necessarily details that are going to be included, but they're sort of the kind of details you're going to want to know about a character, especially since we're going to be writing dialogue for her.
I mean, if we're talking about someone who's being plagued by a trademark, either if something happened to them recently that made it like turn into them, they can be younger. But I almost feel like, especially if they're taking like a vow of silence, they're probably older. Because like trademark law has been
Advertising
around for a while.
executive.
Advertising. Oh God.
It's an advertising executive. This thing happened to him recently. They're an advertising executive. Okay, that's in my head.
I like
Young
it.
and
I like to have-
ambitious, and they tried to make their move because they're a junior advertising executive and got into something that they couldn't handle or
They
understand.
got like into some sort of anomaly to try and get it a leg up at their job. Yeah. Who did this to them? Is it Dado?
I hope not. Maybe.
Who did? Does it matter who did it to them? Wait, we don't have to have a. You don't have to have it doesn't have to matter who. But if we're thinking about it, it could be Marshall Carton Dark, it could be Dado, could be really one of those two. Really, that's the only options. But
capitalism makes me think that it's an MCD. MCD makes sense for if they're trying to make money and they're trying to like make a deal with somebody.
I don't
Plus,
feel
like,
like this would be Marshall Carter and Dark.
It doesn't. Yeah, it
They're
doesn't
not-
feel right for them. But
No,
again, what I'm saying is,
This is-
things.
More
us
like
knowing this
either
part doesn't have to be in
Wondertainment.
the article, right? It doesn't have to be
This
in
is
the
either
article.
like
I'm just thinking about that.
Wondertainment or the Factory to me.
Ooh,
Probably the Factory.
I don't know the factory too much, but that is intriguing as an idea. If it fits, then let's use them. They're under you.
Now I'm gonna look at the factory because I don't know enough about them either.
The problem is like there's like 3 versions of the Factory. There's Bright's Factory, which there's Metaphysician's Factory. There's Bright's Factory, which was basically James Anderson creating a manufacturing plant as his Tulpa. There's a Metaphysician's Factory where an investor confided in several business tycoons to create this centralized cancer. And then there's like the other factory where it's an extra-dimensional parasitic entity.
We've got a super chat. I'm going to point out here that what Mitchell super chats us a couple bucks to say. What if it's a Marshall and Dark failure?
So they
Some
get
sort of legal
copyrighted.
department problem on their hand.
So this is them getting copyright struck?
You know what? I think this overcomplicates. I don't think it matters who did it.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
just
mean, there is
they went out and this happened to them because they went into the anomalous world and they tried to get a leg up. But I don't think who did it really matters. So it could be, the foundation's still trying to figure that out. So okay, we got that part out of the way.
We
So
saved
an
that for the
anomalous-
5 questions contest
Yeah.
part 2.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's an anomalous. It's an anomalous problem, contracted, for lack of a better word. Although that's actually a great word in this particular sense.
I think so. Yeah.
They contracted an anomaly by trying to get a leg up. So what were they trying to do that they failed to get done?
Imagine pushing a product that proceeded to get copyright struck by like an anomalous
They
copyright.
Sorry, I
agency?
have a very specific idea. Okay, so this person is an advertising executive working for some big company. Mysterious, random, not Pepsi big company. Maybe it's Pepsi. But their whole purpose was to get a trademark on a new product that this company was releasing. They failed to get it in time, and they got undercut by somebody else. And in order to fix the problem, they went to an anomaly or some sort of anomalous source to try and preempt the legal trademark. And when they did it, it failed? Or
I imagine like it's just the
they
result
were
of like
rude?
they programmed it incorrectly. So like
Mhm.
instead of being a like a trademark for a product, it's a trademark for a metaphysical pointer variable.
Oh, this actually can work perfectly, especially if the company that this advertising executive was working for was Pepsi, and it was a Pepsi product that they were trying to get trademarked, and this somehow turned back on them instead. Because then our ending with patent or trademark pending really has some sort of like undercurrent to it.
Yeah, that would reinforce the button you talked about. I like that.
Okay, so then we have the person. It's enough details for us to understand this person on a core level. So our description is a person, age 30-something, from New York. That's a good advertising center. Yeah, that's it. We got a person. Okay.
Character achieved.
With our basic explanation of them, then we go into the anomaly, then we can go into some of the details of the anomaly, and then we can go into any kind of interview logs, etc., to figure out what's actually going on behind the scenes.
All right, so SCP Pepsi is a human. So are we still doing like human female, humanoid female? Is a human person formerly named? How do we want to like format this?
I usually do it.
Female, just say their name, like give them a name, and that'll be more than enough to identify
The way I
them
do it
in the
is
audience.
I usually do it. SCP XXXX is a N-year-old nationality. Descriptive term for nationality, human or something. Fuck, I don't know.
XXX is an American, a former American advertising executive named Sarah Pepsi. Is a 34-year-old former advertising executive named Sarah Pepsi.
Off the top of my head, if we want to be thematic in names, do we want to steal the name from some like power broker type woman from like a rom-com, like the kind of business person who's like in the movie would be too focused on their job for like love or something, and so they're like making that like.
I mean, the way ARD does it, he just steals a name from pop culture. Like, I remember him talking about 4670. Like, he talked about, should I make the Foundation certified cannibal Hannibal Lecter or Guy Fieri? And granted, he did black box the name, but
Character from The Devil and Prada and call her Miranda. I mean,
That's actually what I was kind of thinking, is Miranda something. Just not Lambert, because it's different. Because in my head, the character's like advertising agents, power broker, make the cutthroat deal, blows up in their face in this point.
right. But in the reason why I'm using the last name Pepsi and legitimately believe that is a good their name to Pepsi to make their day-to-day life easier.
Miranda Pepsi.
oh yeah,
Also,
that would work.
Also,
We
it
lose
rhymes,
Sherm?
with, it rhymes with Priestley, which is the
Sherm?
name from Devil Wears Prada.
I can still hear him.
Okay, everyone. Maybe it was just me. Everyone went a little iffy there for a second, but it was Sherm primarily. What about Miranda Priestley?
Priest is the last name of the Devil Wears Prada, Miranda. So Miranda Pepsi could be funny.
We're going with Miranda Pepsi. That's the name of this
Miranda
person.
Pepsi. All right. SCP Pepsi is a former advertising executive named Miranda Pepsi.
The internet is going to crap. There's a possibility I might drop, but I got you all back.
Hope we don't lose you. I feel like the next line is how we discovered Miranda Pepsi, unless we're giving like a physical description, which I don't think we need.
What the anomaly is, because you really want to dive into what the mind.
Advertising executive named Miranda Pepsi.
That came through.
Very little.
I'm not hearing anything right now.
Oh, he's muted now. I think
I
we
didn't-
just witnessed Sumerian's internet perform a water landing, an emergency water landing.
Yeah, he's been killed and replaced with a.
A Pepsi-approved supplement.
He's been killed and replaced with a Todd Howard-approved synth who is going to go on about gray morality in Fallout 4.
Oh no.
But only if you pay $9.99 to unlock.
Ha! $9.99 for the first week.
Yeah. And there's a non-trivial chance you'll be banned.
Oh no. But only if he drinks the verification Pepsi.
Two-factor Pepsi authentication.
God, that fucking. Oh god, that was such a good copy pasta. Too bad a lot of them are just like quite literally transphobic garbage. But like the Mountain Dew verification one, that was good.
All right, so
Anyway, I don't know how much of what I've said has come through here. Can you hear me now?
you're back. So tell us again. We can hear you now.
All right. I think your next thing has got to be describing the anomaly, because
Yep.
I'm always a huge fan. I want it to be in the first sentence, but if not the first sentence, the second sentence has to be starting on what's anomalous about this.
Solid. Down.
What the anomaly is. That's pretty simple, right? It's just things that they say are trademarked, except for when they are a pitch for Pepsi and Pepsi products.
So SCPs, SCP, Pepsis, anomalous, effect.
Just explain the anomaly, and it should be self-evident that it's an anomalous effect.
SCP Pepsi. SCP Pepsi's speech is immediately. I'm having trouble just because I'm typing on an iPad, so this is terrible.
Oh no.
SCP Pepsi's speech is immediately trademarked through. Now, this could be through anomalous means, or it could be through a specific board of like trademark law that I just don't have the top of my head. Where? What
Well,
is
here's the real
trademark?
question: is it actually trademarked? Are there files on? Is there stuff on file at the trademark office for anything that this person says, or is it that when you repeat it, you say that it's trademarked? Or if you reprint it, is it you say that it's trademarked in the reprinting? I feel like the second one is much less complex. The better.
Yeah, the first one introduces a ton of really onerous stuff for keeping quiet and purging information and stuff like that. I think just having it be aggressively trademarked in practice is probably a better way to do that.
Plus, that's
Yeah.
the anomaly, right? Like if it was just
Yeah.
if just stuff gets filed, that's sort of anomalous. But is it really SCP worthy?
Anything? SCP Pepsi.
Any and all communications produced by SCP Pepsi are immediately trademarked with the exception of advertisements for Pepsi Cola and related products.
Treated.
I feel like we could somehow merge these
The
two.
reverse of it.
Basically, just a cadaver commander come out of the gate swinging style sentence. Like SCP Pepsi is a 34-year-old female named Miranda Pepsi, who's incapable of producing. No, I'm tripping over myself.
Whose communications are immediately under. No, that's because we changed it from that.
Whose communications are universally under. No, there's no one.
No, you know what? We're
consistent
overcomplicating it. We're
Yeah.
overcomplicating it. It just needs to be the communications, because this is our core idea. Our original idea was that the word trademark is after every word, right? Yeah, there we go. Dr. Clef's got it right there.
Thank you,
perfect.
Dr.
What
Clef.
Dr. Clef said.
That copy and paste that. Somebody copy and paste that. That's the right answer.
It's like Dr. Clef has done this before.
Satpout Kataduck just wants to throw out there, do we want to, for no reason except for the wonderfulness of it, change Miranda's first name to Fresca so Miranda can be Fresca Pepsi?
No. It's fun, but I feel like it's a little too on the nose.
Fair.
Hey, is that Dr. Magnus in chat?
Dr. Magnus, where? Miranda Pepper.
I'm sorry, I'm seeing someone with the same like profile picture as Magnus has on Discord, and I'm just assuming like that's Magnus. Oh God, she cannot be named Fresca in that case, because then. Oh, hi, Magnus.
Oh no, you uncovered Magnus's secret identity. Meanwhile, checking the feed. We are currently at $44,479. Thank you, Anonymous, Jake Ross, Carter Pavek, and Ethan Schilling for donating in the last 23 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. SCP Pepsi is a 34-year-old advertising executive named Miranda Pepsi who is incapable of communicating without acknowledging a trademark on the content of those communications.
See, I feel like we could even just like condense that further into something that
Only like halfway through her anomaly, because it also covers stuff that was communicated to them by her. Wrong with splitting this into two sentences. Like, I'm fine with it, because having an overly complex first sentence can make things a slog, but like it sets people up for it to be a slog.
Yeah, if we stop here, we're able to let the reader set that into their think meets and take them by the hand to the other effect. I think we're fine stopping it. We can break this into two.
Yeah, furthermore, secondhand repetition or secondhand tellings of stories related from SCP Pepsi suffer from the same anomalous effect.
Perfect, but it'll do for now.
All right, so now, hi, I can't say corporate names without saying the word trademark. And also, you can't talk about things I told you without saying the same trademark.
Is that also
So-
Jackal related? I see in the chat. Sorry, I'm just recognizing people in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, everybody on the internet has different usernames and avatars, and who the hell are you people?
It's only partially true, so we have to work in the exception that she can speak when advertising Pepsi products. That's not an exception because she still has to acknowledge the trademark. She can just our original idea, or the idea I pitched, was that she can treat the whole paragraph as though it's trademarked instead of the individual words.
All right, so what's our next step here? We have our 2-sentence description. Furthermore, retellings of communications originating from SCP Pepsi are subject to a similar effect. So are we mentioning the exception of Pepsi here, or are we saving that for later on?
For me, and again, this is just how I do it, not necessarily how it has to be done, but for me, it's physical description of the thing, description of the anomaly on a baseline level, and then that's for the first paragraph, and then second paragraph is going into the minutia and details of your anomaly. So now we would start talking about exceptions and how it exactly works, what the exact methods of, like listing, like saying it's all communications. Well, we already said it's all communications, so that doesn't need to be specified. But like that kind of stuff. Not that specifically, but that kind of detail.
Magnus says, a mental image of the Darmak and Tanagra episode of Star Trek, which is amazing. I'm trying to talk about Pepsi the whole time. Oh, now I can't remember the good quote. Darmak on the walls or something like that. Off topic, I'm back. Where do we go with this? We have to talk about the...
Darmak and Jalad at Tanagra.
Thank you, yes. That's what I wanted.
Temba, when the walls
Me too.
fell.
Tembo when the walls fell. That's what I wanted. Thank you. I feel better.
Be exactly like that, except promoting Pepsi products. That's literally what.
Can't say goodbye, only says Pepsi, Generation Next.
Oh my God! Yes, let's go. Oh man.
Wonderful.
I don't know. I've never played the Outer Worlds, or I haven't played the Outer Worlds yet. Fully intend to at some point.
My girlfriend says it's extremely good.
It's quite
It's
good,
gotta
yeah.
be. The people that made it are the people that made it. I understand it's a lot shorter than it's not as open worldy and lengthy as you might expect from that kind of game, but still incredibly good for what it is.
I just finished my first playthrough from it on, I think it was like Tuesday night, and I'm pretty impressed.
Would that be corrected though, that it's not as lengthy or open worldy as you might expect?
Oh no, it's right now it's somewhere around, I'd say, a 25-hour experience on average. Some people get it done in like 15, some people get like 30 to 40. But there's a
Kind of
couple
replayability.
a little bit. Like, the achievements are kind of obtuse and hard to get. But, I mean, there's a lot of... if you can replay a game, not for, like, the story beats, because the story beats are always mostly similar, but the conversation wildly differs, that's, like... I play charisma characters, and so I talk to everyone about every single prompt. And so I'm going to...
Made a point. It's like more like Mass Effect, less like Fallout. Sounds like what you're describing. So
yeah, it's like I'd say it's Fallout New Vegas, but a lot more Mass Effect-y.
I mean, it
Which
was.
isn't a bad thing to be.
I mean, what's your standard for Fallout?
The originals. All right, so Fallout 1 and 2 is what I want to like, but Fallout 3 and 4 are what I'm more familiar with.
Okay.
Wait. The originals and New Vegas. That would.
Yes.
I'm down with New Vegas. Vegas is definitely the best of the modern. If we can even call them modern anymore, that was a really long time ago. But, yep.
It's the best of the 21st century Fallout.
I'm so old.
Oh, ow. Ow, why would you do that here in my own home?
Okay, boomer.
No. That's the thing.
Oh.
We don't even have to be boomers. That's the worst part. Like, we don't even have to be boomers for that
Uh-huh.
to be true.
Yeah, no, that's okay, millennials. Ow.
Yeah.
Damn you, Gen Z.
We're just old enough to remember game. Well, not even just old enough. We're old enough to remember gaming in the 90s in a serious way. And we're like, oh, boy.
Yeah, imagine
Man,
how.
Do you remember when controllers had 2 buttons?
Yeah, and a little one directional pad, an A and a B, and a start and a select, and that was it. And we liked it. No, we did like it. I'm gonna be honest with
Marveling at the graphics of Pitfall.
you. Very first game I ever played was Legend of Zelda on the NES. I should
Good
say the very first
choice.
console game I ever played. And yeah, that was an experience.
I was like 5, 5 or like 6 when like the kind of games you'd consider like nostalgia, like the last wave of those. I was like 5 or 6 when that was a thing.
I mean, I was just becoming a teenager in I turned 15. I turned 13 in like 1998. So I was just becoming a teenager at the end of the 90s and into the beginnings of the 2000s. And the games that came out around that time, Final Fantasy VII, Planescape Torment, oh man, those were good games, friends.
I need to
those
play
were good games.
I need to play
the-
Planescape. Planescape
Like Diablo
Torment.
2. You should play Planescape Torment. Everyone should play Planescape Torment at least once.
Bigly agreed.
It seems like God,
It is
Hippo recommended me that game, which means
I've talked to him about it before too. Yeah, it's a masterclass in how to use storytelling in a video game. Now, I will say the gameplay is it's not bad, but it's a little average. But the storytelling is so goddamn amazing. It's
You won't care, yeah.
It's head and shoulders above almost anything else you'll ever play.
The mechanics of the game are just a vehicle for the story. It's an afterthought, really. And that's fine. It doesn't get in the way.
Would you like to play a game where you were immortal and the purpose is to try and die? Because that's what you're doing. Anyway, we should probably get back to our writings here.
Tangent complete. Second paragraph of the description. Minutia and exceptions.
Yes. We need to talk. I think the most salient point is that she can advertise Pepsi products as a whole. And okay. So every word we have to describe that every word she says, or that is retold that she has said to someone else, or written. Let's just say we don't have to specify exactly how the communications are made. Any communications made by this person necessitate the usage of the word trademarked after the individual words, except in the case of a advertisement for a Pepsi product. Or sentences phrased in such a way as to advertise Pepsi products may be collectively trademarked or may be collectively designated as trademarked. Something along those lines.
Content of the communication. So does in the previous paragraph, does incapable of communicating without acknowledging a trademark on the content of those communications, does that sentence need to point out after each word? That way that sentence.
What we're doing now.
Okay.
The first sentence is like your imagine it's like the outline for your thing. Now you can go into the minutiae and the exceptions and explain what each of those lines means that need to be explained.
I see you now. All right. All right. Since I'm typing on an iPad, I'm going to mess this up either way. Do you want to type that part out?
No, my computer is not working great right now.
All right. Dictate. I got this.
I'm just going to give you a rough idea and clean it up afterwards.
Yeah.
Communications originating from SCP.
I'm spacing out. I think I might head off for now.
You're dying? All right. Communications originating from SCP Pepsi are... Must be, actually. No, must be. No, that doesn't work. The individual words of any communications originating from SCP Pepsi.
There. The individual words of any communications originating from SCP Pepsi
Must be followed by the word trademarked.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Kaiman,
Howdy.
welcome to the chat.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Except, and this is rough, so we may end up splitting this into two sentences at some later point, but except when utilized in the... Okay, somebody's definitely breaking something. Where's that loud noise?
One hold until the chaos fades.
Someone is killing... Oh, there we go. Somebody was killing something on their desk, I think.
Killing the desk.
I mean, possibly killing the desk.
Sometimes violence is the answer, right?
Okay.
Yes.
The individual words of any communication originating from SCP Pepsi must be followed by the word trademarked. This anomalous effect extends to any individual who attempts to repeat these communications. Attempts to repeat or does recount work? No, I'm going to say repeat. You can say repeat or recount, but recount or reprint these communications. The sole, no, I don't want to say the sole exception, because the sole exception is such a redundancy, right? Exceptions are always single. Not necessarily. I guess you could have more than one exception, but anyway, this effect. Now we have to figure out how to phrase the secondary portion of this. I had it earlier. I know I said it out loud, and now I've completely lost it. Except when utilized as in the communication of an advertisement for a Pepsi product. There's something to begin that sentence for sure, but that's the end of the sentence.
Except when utilized
in the advertisement of a Pepsi product. Now, that's the end of a sentence. What's the beginning of that sentence? This anomalous effect is universal, except... Stupid. The individual words of any communication originating from SCP must be followed by the word trademark that its anomalous effect extends to any individual who recounts or reprints these communications, except I feel like you could end that sentence in that.
If we take out this anomalous effect, we can change extend into extending. Be followed by the word trademark, extending to any individual who recounts or reprints these communications.
I don't want to it's fine to have two sentences there. I always like to.
Okay.
There's that balance to try and create where you like want to have an overly complex sentence that technically is accurate but is a little harder to read. Having a period every once in a while is not a big deal, but I feel like because this is separate, this is three different things. Individual communications, it extends to any individual who recounts or reprints these communications, except as utilized in an advertisement for a Pepsi product. I would say for instead of. But Well, maybe that is like an entirely. You know what? Maybe instead of trying to sum this up in one sentence, this is an entire third paragraph.
Maybe it's the only known exception to this effect is when communications are utilized.
When SCP-XXX when SCP-XXX communicates an advertisement for a Pepsi product.
Let's back it up. When SCP-XXX communicates
advertisement
for a Pepsi product.
This communication will be treated in aggregate in relation to the anomaly, something like that.
This effect only applies to sentences rather than individual words.
The totality of the communication. Communicates an advertisement for a Pepsi product. The anomalous effect applies to the totality of the communication. Okay. Now, I'm thinking about the second sentence of the second paragraph. This anomalous effect extends to any individual who recounts or reprints these communications. I had an idea now. I think I've lost it, but I was going to change that sentence. So effect extends to any individual who recounts or reprints these communications. That doesn't work for me, but now I've completely lost why it doesn't work for me. Trademarked. It almost makes it sense. Oh, you know what? We're missing more details because it's not just trademarked, right? It's trademarked by such and such corporation.
Correct. We had the added details.
Yeah, that'll make this a little bit longer. Which is, I like to at least. I know it sounds silly, but I like to include enough details to have at least 3 paragraphs worth of information. Otherwise, it always looks a little like it visually looks like it's an excuse to get to some sort of logs. Yeah. So that's going to be included as well. Let's see, followed by the word trademarked by whichever corporation has trademarked that word. By any corporations. By any corporation with a registered trademark. Must be followed by the word trademark by any corporation that has a registered trademark on that word. If no corporation owns a specific trademark on that word, the phrase trademarked by Pepsi Corporation would, yeah, that would work better. Yeah. Something like that. You work out the details exactly. I'm just like stream of consciousnessing right now.
Oh, we've reached the 2-hour mark. We're going to have to move on to shift 2 of this stream.
Oh no.
All right, well, let me introduce to Get Vocal what that means. Hi, an epic fail. Welcome, Epic, to the stream last 5 minutes. So, hello, everyone watching in YouTube and on Get Vocal. What happens with the Get Vocal app is it lets us let all these people on the stream, which is baller, but it limits us to 2 hours of stream time. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut off the stream, restart it essentially, so it'll be cut into bite-sized chunks. And we will continue with this episode and continue raising money for the wiki, because obviously not just us, but in the time we have been streaming, we are now up to $44,517. Thank you, 3 more anonymouses, as well as Caden Jambor and Olga Dolenko, for donating in the last 23 minutes. And so YouTube chat and Get Vocal, we will shut this down and move to the next room. Does anyone have anything else to add?
Trademark by Pepsi.
Go team. Go team PepsiCo.
Go team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Site 42 SCP Legal Defense stream. YouTube will be back in 2 minutes. Get Vocal team, migrate to the next chat room. Yeehaw. See you there.